All right, now we're back, and we are kind of talking. We're not talking about finances of what the pastor's doing with the money. We're talking about what you, the church members, are doing with that money. So it was brought to my attention a couple days ago. I remember I used to work at Bay State Chapel. And I call it work because I was like there in I was there in a never in a like just sitting to listen to sermon. I was always there to do something. And I go to Victory in Christ Church, so that's where my tithing goes. So I was thinking like maybe I should start giving offerings or something to Bay State Chapel. And then I was like, I don't know. I spend all this time here doing all this stuff, helping, every leaders meeting, all this stuff. How do you guys feel about church members who are part of like the worship team or the staff or the board of directors who can hire and fire the pastor? How do you feel about them not paying tithes because of their giving physically?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, you should. You should tithe. But as far as giving your offering, the Bible said to enter His gates with thanksgiving and praise. Mm-hmm. So I think you tithe your time. Yep. You tithe money. Mm-hmm. But I think you should have an offering, even if it's just a small amount.
Okay, Eugenia, do you think there's a time of giving physically that negates you having to give financially?
I would say no. And I guess the first thing I want to say is, everyone in the church has a gift, has multiple gifts, whether they realize it or not. So really everyone in the church should be, helping out with stuff or growing in their faith so that they eventually help out. That's how church.
Eugene, you don't give. You don't give to the church. You don't help out in the church, Eugene. Shame on you. I'm just kidding. I don't know anybody who gives time and stuff as much as Eugene. So,
but so I think everyone should be eventually growing to help out with stuff. But no, I think we all should give part of our money. The only thing that I'm not sure about is I don't in terms of how much of that money we give where. Nowadays most people would say the church that we're a member of is the church that we give our tithe to. That's probably the way the majority of people would do it. Biblically speaking, the only thing I would I wouldn't say that that's the exact way that we have to give a tithe, because I don't see anything in the Bible about specific local church membership. Like when Paul said, he's writing to the church at Ephesus. They probably had multiple locations where they met. So I think we should tithe, our money no matter what. But it does. I don't believe at all of the tithe necessarily has to go to one church. The tithe, we could maybe do it at our home church or at a couple of churches. Like with me, I tithe, mostly at TLC, which is the church I go to on Sunday. And I give we call an offering to like Bay State, or I go to another church, or I'm sponsoring 2 kids in Haiti right now. I see that as more of an offering, and but I think we should all give part of our money, but I don't see enough evidence in the scriptures to say that all of the tithe has to go to one specific church.
Okay, Scott, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like there is tithing not financially, or do you feel this? Let me ask you this question. Do you think when you stand before the Lord, He will say you cannot enter because you did not tithe?
I think there's a lot of very non-monetary ways to tithe. You can give your time, you give your talent, you can it says, "What good is a light?" It says scripturally, "What good is a light if it is hid under a bushel?"
Mm-hmm.
And there was the one that was given many talents, but he buried them, and he was reproached for that. But the one with only a couple of talents came and gave back 2 more, doubled what he had been given. Personally, I mean, I work for one church as an organist, and I get paid every week, and they take taxes out of it besides. And I asked personally for offering envelopes, but I've never been fiscally able to give offerings to the church. And on top of that, I have negative personal attachments to it because I recently got accused of taking advantage of people with, getting rides from cantors, and I had a lot of money donations and material had a material donation when I moved. I had an organization help me with my move, and they actually gave me a free move. So I had a lot of help I was very grateful for. But then they got all offended and said that because I was critical, criticized them that I was taking advantage and I was selfish and I was all these things. And so personally, when an offering plate or something comes along during a church service, I always get a little embarrassed about it because I usually don't have anything to give. And I'm like, don't make me feel so responsible here. I'm giving my time, I'm giving my talent, I'm giving my everything, and then I'm at, like I said, I'm at Bay State volunteering.
Mm-hmm. You ain't giving everything.
Well, I'm trying to. But, I don't know, I always feel uncomfortable with the whole thing of the money issue.
No, you got to you got to get your pocketbook out of Egypt. You can't.
What does that mean? Pocketbook out of I've never heard that before. Pocketbook out of Egypt.
Yeah, they were delivered. God brought them up out of Egypt and blessed them. After they got out of there, they went up with all kinds of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But you supposed to give, and you're supposed to tithe. Read Malachi.
Okay. So, all right. So, Mom, so you think that if we go before the Lord one day, when we do go before the Lord, He will say you didn't.
You robbed me.
Okay.
And you gonna ask how? How did I rob you?
Mm-hmm.
And what does the book say?
Yeah, but I've given him my thankfulness and my gratitude for every single day that I've had. I give him, I think that's a lot more important than how much cash you give in church.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it is important
because
to give time and everything.
Grudgingly give cash, and they have no.
Well, and even well, then if they're going to grudgingly give it, they're not going to be blessed.
Nope.
Right.
So you supposed to be happy if you want to be blessed.
All right, Eugene is thumbing at the Bible. He's getting ready to come with the scriptures. I'm ready, Eugene.
No, well, I would say no because I don't believe we're saved by our works.
Okay.
I believe, if you go back to the Bible and back to the Reformation, and everything, it's by faith alone that we have a sin nature, we're blinded, and we are depraved, and we can't earn our salvation.
We're not talking about salvation, though, Eugene.
Oh,
we're not talking
I thought that's what he
being saved by grace. He's talking about tithing.
Yeah, I agree. We should give.
You said that you were robbing the Lord if you don't tithe.
That's what the Bible. I didn't say
that's
it.
About
the Bible, God said it.
That's about salvation, though, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't see why, we can't all give, you don't have to give half, your entire paycheck every week, but, give, as...
All right, so being a person who is not good with his finances, I was not selfless enough to give my 10% a lot of times. And I say selfless because if I were more selfless, then I could have I could have possibly, if I was excited about tithing as I was about buying video games or buying sneakers or buying something else, that I would be tithing a lot better. Tithing is a problem that a lot of Christians have, and I don't want to I don't want to discourage them. I don't want to discourage our listeners who have difficulties tithing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't think we're here as a truth seekers to discourage them. But I agree with a lot of what my mother says. We are supposed to be tithing. And if someone who is like me, so I'm not actually acting like I'm better, if someone who's like me who struggles or has a hard time with tithing and recently tithing better and being blessed by God, I want to encourage you, take that step of faith and tithe, even if you don't feel you have it, and watch what the Lord does for you.
I'm telling you.
All right, go ahead.
You show up and show out.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Just the one thing I want to add is, what helps sometimes is in terms of people who have trouble with their finances and kind of trouble. It's like all right, where do I start? You can get so frustrated that you're like, I'm just not even gonna. It's too much. I'm just not even gonna start. So I would say start. Set a goal every week and say, this week, I'm going to give this much no matter what. And then, maybe the next month you give more and you can develop, it's a discipline, and I haven't always been faithful in doing it either, but I think it's a discipline that it's like a good habit you want to develop.
Yeah.
Now that you talking about tithing or offering?
No, I'm talking about for someone to start tithing. To go from a person who never gives.
How much?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
yeah.
So Scott brought up a good question, Eugene. How much do you think?
10% is a lot.
Yeah.
If you think of, I'm bringing in $800 a month, $80 a month. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
But let me tell you, God will get into your finances, and you will be doubly blessed.
Well, that's like the prosperity gospel, and I had a minister warn me about that. He said he warned me
what then, Scott?
about the falsehood
you know what's
of
going to
the
happen?
prosperity gospel.
Yeah, you know what, and we will talk about the prosperity gospel. We will have a whole Truth Seekers. We've had one before. There's nothing wrong with revisiting it, so we might need to revisit that. Scott, don't feel left out. Bill Glenn and my mother disagree on prosperity. I don't want to say prosperity gospel in a negative sense, but they disagree on that subject heavily, to the point where I had to have Bill Glenn sit over here out of arm's reach from my mother. So
I think if you're grateful for what you have and you pray about it and you show the Lord how thankful you are, honestly, that counts more than anything. Mm-hmm. Because He just wants us to be thankful and enjoy the good gifts that He has given us.
And there is,
amen.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend more time on it, but maybe for next time we can talk about there is debate on whether the 10%, from the law of Moses, whether or not that still applies today. Well,
I will say this. I will say, cheerful giving, and God knows your heart when you give. That's the amount you should be giving. You should be giving something that you're happy to give. If you
man rob God.
I know, Mom. I'm with you on that too. I am with you. I am with you on that too. But so what I want to say to the listeners though. If you are struggling with tithing, start by giving $1 a week. Start. Start off with $1, then move to $2 until you get to where you're supposed to be. But give something every week. Just start. You can start small, and don't feel any condemnation. Nobody became a Christian. You just don't go in the water and come out Mr. Super Christian 100% without fault, never doing anything wrong again. You have to you're still in your diapers, you still got to work and grow. And there's a lot of growing. The Lord is working in me, and I'm growing, and I'm learning stuff now. You want to know what I just learned this week? I don't have to get on Facebook and go on rants every time I feel something bad or something about racism that happens. I have learned this week that I am oversensitive, and I need to stop being so sensitive to that stuff. I learned that this week. I am not. When I tell you that I am not perfect, I really mean I have my muck and my stuff that I deal with as well. So start off with $1, and then move on when you can move on to something more.
And it would be easier if parish leaders and ministers don't browbeat their congregations over it. Because especially with I hate to pick and choose, but with the Catholic Church especially, every single week it's always, we need this for a repair, we need this money for this charity, or this thing or that thing, and they're kind of guilted into just giving all this.
See, now, if people were tithing, they would have that money there. If people were tithing,
I agree, but sometimes it's almost like my first time when I visit a church for the first time, and you know it's coming. It's going to be that guy, the brother or the sister who makes the announcements. You know that conversation or that announcement's coming. Now, we had the water heater and it just blew out. So we are starting a water heater fund. And if you would like to give to just put on your little pay stub that we have, that we passing around right now, just put water heater fund in the bottom right corner so we know that it's going to go towards the water heater fund. And then make sure you pay your tithes on top of that. Then we also have a luncheon that's going to be next week. If you want, please give your $75 towards that luncheon.
And then
the charity
you tell me, give $75. Now don't over exaggerate.
You're right. I was over exaggerating, not all churches are like that. Triumphant Life Church, Victory in Christ Church are such giving churches that it's unreal how much they give. I will represent them because
they are callous. It's really, really terrible how there's starving children throughout the world, and there's this Guatemalan tragedies.
The Bible says the poor is going to always be among you. So
right,
that's no excuse.
What I'm saying is that it's but I mean, you have to take care of your own survival first too. You have to live.
But you know what? I hate to toot Triumphant Life Church's horn, but they have sent so many people over to Haiti, like Eugene, to help feed those people and help care for those people, help build schools even in Haiti. So a lot of churches, and there are a lot of churches that don't practice that give it up.
Tithing and giving offering.
All right, so I'm trying to end the Truth Seekers on a positive note here. So let me try it one more time. Okay. Eugene, do you have what has the Lord done for you this week?
Well, last week was pretty crazy. It was good in a good way, but I had a few negative things.
Oh my goodness!
But no, I don't know. I guess I'll end it on I won't go too much in the negative.
All right.
I guess the good thing that happened was Adrian called me up on Saturday, and he asked if I could preach at Bay State this coming Saturday because he's not going to be there. And and I said I'd do it. So so right now I'm just trying to prepare the sermon and pray about it. I had a little bit of negative this week. Like on Saturday night, my brother ended up getting upset with me because somehow we ended up talking about God, and and he started asking me all these questions.
Is he an atheist?
No, he's not. He's I guess we'd call him an agnostic. He believes in something.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really believe in the Bible, or he doesn't you know what I mean? And he's not a Christian.
Agnostics make more sense to me than atheists. Like to look at the world, look at the blood moon yesterday. That stuff is all coincidence and stuff. But all right. And speaking of blood moons, we're going to talk about that next week. But Eugene, quick question: what are you preaching on Saturday?
We're going through the Book of Acts, and I'm going to be preaching on. I don't know what the title of it's going to be, but I'm going to be preaching on chapter 6 and 7, where in chapter 6 they had to assign the apostles had to give different roles to other people so they could continue preaching and doing the spiritual work. And then they had to
set up the board.
And then
they had to set up the board. Yeah, they were doing the tables. So
And then in chapter 7, that's where Stephen gets stoned to death for preaching the gospel. Yeah. And so near the end of chapter 7, the church gets persecuted. Chapter 7 going into chapter 8, and then they grow because of the persecution. They get sent out to all different parts of Israel, and then they grow in the persecution. So there's like a couple of points I'm gonna, because we're just going through the book.
We don't need the whole sermon right now.
Right. So,
all right, Scott. What about you? What is going on with you? What has God done for you this past week?
Well, it's more a question of what God might be doing for somebody else through me too, a little bit.
Okay.
Because Eugene's father Tom has been going through a heck of a lot of stress lately, and a lot of it has been because of the worship team.
Okay.
We have one person who has a mood disorder, and he's more of a metal guy, and he's feeling really down and disappointed about how things are going because he's self-taught. He's not really fitting in with the ensemble, with the group. Mm-hmm. And Tom's had a lot of personal stress, and he wants to give up the leadership of the worship team to somebody else. And I told him, for one thing, I says I would be willing to help you on that, and I also suggested to him that maybe the pressure would be taken off with a couple of things. So I suggested that I do a solo for one of the songs so that we don't have to learn one of the songs for one of the worship services, and that B, that I would offer Adrian maybe a free concert to the church.
Okay.
You know, something positive and that would be my way of like tithing my talent.
Okay.
You know, because I have a lot of original material I could do. I could do a nice piano concert, and it would be nice.
That would be nice. Don't forget though to slip $1 in there too when you're doing the free concert. Okay, so for me, like I told you guys earlier, the Lord spoke through someone into me about me being overly sensitive to the stuff, and I like took myself off of Facebook for 48 hours. And I didn't really miss it at all. I just had to post stuff for the radio station. And then when I got back on, I seen the same stuff. And I already noticed, like, some stuff that I saw that would get me really like, ooh, again. Now I'm just like, and I have so much more peace now because of it. Mom, what about you? What did you learn from God? What did you get from the Lord this week?
Why don't you listen to us?
Positive, Mom. We're trying to end this on something
positive. Telling you that for weeks.
We're trying to end this on something. Honey, sometimes you have to get swallowed by the whale before you actually get it. I don't know.
Okay.
God's children.
Well, I'm going to be moving in November or into October probably. So I'll be looking at new things, and I got a reduction in some of my bills, which is always good.
Yep.
And I'm praying that everything will go well there. And I'm just just happy. I've been able to pray for people more on there's a place on Facebook called My Prayer Project. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of praying for people there, and I find it gratifying, and I just love being able to do things for the Lord, and there's nothing like tithing as far as I'm concerned, because God blesses me.
Amen.
He blesses me coming in, coming out. I mean, from finding $4,000 or $5,000, from picking money up off the ground.
You found $4,000.
From people giving me things.
Did you find this recently?
And I'm telling you, God is blessing.
Mom, I need some shoes. Did you find this recently?
I'm gonna shoe you, all right.
All right. Well, that's it. We wanted to end on a positive note. I really enjoyed the show with you guys today, and I hope you guys enjoyed being a part of it as well. We thank you, listeners, for always listening in, and we will see you next week on the
Truthseekers.
Remember at Walmart.